Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program with Lone Debater 7, and today we're going to be showing off how to set up an automated smelter for copper and iron. So first things first, take a look at your power. We can generate 2.1 and we're only using about 90 to run both mining machines. Just bear in mind that like your smelters do take electricity, so if you're low on power for whatever reason, it will impact the ability of all your machines to operate. So we're gonna put 2 on either side, so we'll put one there, and one there, and one there. Okay, easy enough. Next, you take sorters, you click the belt, then click the machine, click the belt, click the machine, and this belt just has iron ore from our mining machine in it. Then you set the recipe for each smelter to make iron ingots, and we're going to put an additional smelter on the iron line to build magnet bases, but we'll talk about that in a second. So there we go. Iron has been automated. For copper, you set the recipe to copper plates or copper ingots. And same thing, we got to put our sorters from the belt into the machine. And that sorter doesn't have power, so you just plonk down a Tesla tower, just like that, and there you go. So we are going to pull that up real quick just because we don't need that extra bit of track. But there we have it. So we've got iron and copper automated at this point. Feels good. Feels good. We're going to throw in just a little bit right there so they can gen up. The next step of this is to go ahead and build storage. So I like to have a storage container for iron and copper because it is nice to have iron and copper ingots on you. So I try to do that, and actually we're going to build a third storage, and we're going to build an additional smelter. We need to pick up some iron, it looks like. So we'll take out the iron here. They'll gen up to 100 ingots before they're full. So, and you do have quite a range, so like we can reach the copper smelters from here, not a big deal. But we're going to put a storage box here for the iron, and we're going to put a storage box here for the copper. So we need to build more conveyors. So conveyors are just iron basically. You can build up to 10 items at a time, so we'll do 2 sets of 10 for 60 belts. Eventually we will automate this, we just aren't at that point yet. I did want a smelter, which we needed. Oh, we need iron ore to make the magnet bases. Lol. Okay, so let's go ahead and build some magnet bases. With that iron ore we just picked up. Magnet bases also are built with iron ore, so yeah, it kind of sucks if you don't have magnet bases being built automatically. You kind of like have to pick up iron ore. We do need more sorters, so we'll just go ahead and set this to 10 as well, because we're going to use 10 sorters, no problem. Like, it's almost a guarantee. But we're slowly building up some magnets. We're going to gather our copper, and once we get our sorters set up, we can put our iron away. We're also going to set up one smelter for our magnet bases. So let's go ahead and get the conveyor belt set up to feed into the copper storage box. We don't have the sorters yet to, pull out of these, but not a big deal. So if you're new to like factory building automation type games, this is kind of base level automation. You gather whatever the source material is, you craft that into the base products. So we're doing that for iron and copper because those are the 2 source materials. Base products for iron ore are iron ingots, and then it'll also be magnet bases. We just need another smelter to build those. We haven't set it up yet. And then for copper, it's just copper ingots. So copper is pretty easy to set up. You just build a bunch of smelteries making copper, and you're good, pretty much. For iron, you gotta kind of figure out what ratio is going to work for you. So you need some that build copper ingots, or iron ingots rather, because you need iron ingots, and then you also need some smelters right here to build magnet bases, because you need both of them for the first step in automation with this game. So let's go ahead and set this one to make magnet bases. Cool. And what we can do, we will just store those right next to this for the time being. There we go. Cool. So now we have, well, once we put down our power pole. Okay, so now we have automated all the base, well, I say that. We still need to connect the copper. JK. Okay, once that sorter is built, okay, cool. So now we have automated all of the base resources into storage. So we harvest copper, we build everything that can be made with copper ore right here and store that material. We have iron ore being gathered. We build everything that can be made with iron ore and store both of those two materials. And then what we're going to do next is combine them to make more complex materials. So we still need to do some research in order to get to that point. We need to do basic assembling process. So start that research is 10 circuits and 10 gears. Not too bad now that we have everything automated. So we'll do the 10 gears and we'll do 10 circuit boards. So that'll take a little bit of time to, you know, craft or whatever in our inventory. But as soon as we start building circuits, the research will start manually ticking up as well. So perfect, we're good there. I am going to grab a little bit more iron because we are using a fair amount of iron at the moment. And we may change this ratio. We'll kind of build the second set of the factory and see. This is an easily expandable, easily modulated system. So if we need more iron ingots, what we do is we just extend this belt down, and I'm going to take a turn right here just because I want some room for oil later. You don't have to do that, you just do it in a straight line. Add in another iron ingot furnace, then take a magnet furnace and put it on the end, or maybe you need a second one of these, just add it next to it, extend the belt, and you've got two instead of one. So there's a lot of things you can do. It just depends on what's going to be useful to you at the time and what's going to work. So, alright. We've got all of our basic stuff done as far as researches are concerned. You'll now notice that we need blue cubes, electromagnetic matrices, in order to continue. So that is its own research. It takes 10 magnets, 10 electronics, and that will unlock building the blue cubes and the matrix lab. That's where our research... That's basically how the research works in this game, is it's focused around those two things. So one of the items you need in order to do this, and I'm actually going to build this stuff over here a little bit so we can, you know, access more of this copper if we need to expand production for some reason. But one of the items is electronics, which takes iron ingots and copper ingots. So we're going to take our iron, bring it over just like that, and we are going to take our copper, bring it over like that. We're going to put a sorter in. Once it builds this last piece of the track, we'll put one there as well. We're going to have to power this, I get that. We'll put down the power pole. We need to build more sorters. So let's build some sorters. But basically we can automate electronic circuits. I would also suggest that you store electronic circuits because they become, like, they're used in things down the road, like base replicator crafting stuff. It's good to have electronic circuits on you. Anyway, so we're going to build a few storage containers just because I'm going to want to store a lot of things pretty close together here shortly. So we're going to put our storage bin for electronics right here. We're going to connect those two facilities together, and then I need to connect this iron box to right there, and this copper box to right there, and then slowly these will make electronic circuits for us. Now the magnets, also pretty straightforward, not too difficult to do. You just have to make magnet bases out of iron ore and combine that with iron and copper ingots, and that will build those. So no worries, we're gonna just craft these real quick so we can get the research done. And then we'll queue up the buildings we're gonna need to make these. So we need one assembler. The smelter, we're probably good with just the one, honestly. We're gonna need more belts. And we need more iron. So we'll take the iron out. And these buffers are useful because it means that you're always producing items up until this is full. So these are constantly running. It keeps your flow of input resources, so the raw ore, more consistent. So you'll be able to tell if you need to expand mining capabilities. We also need to start looking at power because we're not producing enough to meet power demands. I wanted to look. Thermal power is probably going to be the first matrix research we do. So that's 30. We're just going to queue that for now. We did get a matrix lab right here. So what this guy does, it has two functions. It can either research, if you've got cube research, it can research those, or it can produce the cubes for you. So if we feed this with magnets and electronics, so like if we take these electronics and put them all in there, and then we'll take some magnet bases real quick, and if we build some magnets and throw those in there, it will make these matrix cubes for us. So we can throw in like 12 and it'll start building them. It goes relatively fast, so as you can see it does like 20 per minute or 15 per minute is kind of the average. And I believe it will buffer up to 10 of them for you. So I'm just doing this for now so we can get this thermal power research and go straight into thermal power as opposed to taking the detour of building more wind turbines, which aren't as efficient. That's just my call. You don't have to play that way. That's just what I wanted to do. Okay, so we need another assembler, I believe. Well, we built the assembler. So we have electronic circuits right there. We also need magnets. So we're going to put our I want to be able to expand our circuits up this direction, so we're gonna put our magnets like right here. Let's lay down another storage box like so, and then we will put our magnet assembler right here. We'll set the recipe because we know what it's going to be, magnetic coils. We're going to take another tower and just move it over like this, and since we know we're going to be pulling out of this and going into this box, we're going to set that up. Easy peasy. Now we do need more copper. So what we can do, just to keep things like logistically separated, is bring out its own separate line from the copper ingot box, just like that. The drones will slowly build it. You can improve their speed and stuff like that. We'll talk about upgrades next time probably. But there we go. We've got our box connected to that conveyor. And this will bring the copper ingots we need for our magnets. Straight on over. We're going to grab our cubes real quick so it keeps making them. And ultimately, like, this can be changed. So you can, in addition to just laying the conveyor belts flat, you can also elevate them so they can crisscross each other as well, which is kind of cool in my opinion. But yeah, so at some point, if we need to expand, what we can do is bring this copper line up this direction in parallel with this one, have more assemblers for electronics right here, more assemblers for magnets right here, run this copper line along this direction, and then bring the magnet bases up. So all we're missing right now is magnet bases. Pretty easy. So we're going to take this, and since we don't have anything else that's going right here for the time being, we are just going to build it straight up. We do need more conveyor belts, so we'll build some more conveyor belts and just build all conveyors. Use the rest of our iron. We can take a look. So these do have a buffer of 100. Normally these sorters aren't fast enough to empty them all the way, so just bear that in mind. But we'll grab some more iron ingots so we can build more tracks. But basically what we're going to do, bring that up like this. And we do, well, our fuel is kind of okay. We'll put that stuff in. That'll be fine. It's because we're walking and moving and we don't have any upgrades. So we need to input from there. And then we need an output from here. Cool. And there we go. Now we've got electronics being built automatically, and once these magnet bases arrive over here, we'll have magnetic coils being built automatically. We're 3 cubes away from our research, so we'll go ahead and pull these out, and we'll take these electronics out after the last one is built. Because we're going to move this, so we're going to do our research somewhere else. I just placed it down. So we just finished our thermal power research, which is great. So at this point, I'm going to grab some electronics just to carry. I'm going to grab some magnets just to carry. We've got bases, we've got iron, we've got copper. How many tracks do we have? I don't know. Well, we'll be okay. So let's go back down to where our coal is and get thermal power set up before we expand any farther, because we're going to need it. That's the next step. So we've got electronics and magnetic coils fully automated at this point. We could automate blue science creation as well, fairly easily, but we won't be able to power the matrix lab unless we have thermal power set up. So that's the next step. We're going to cover that next time. If you enjoyed the episode today, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always, and until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.